Here's a short overview of Operation Long Game. Right now, it is currently a podcast and YouTube channel. This is June 2020, almost July 2020. So this channel covers two long games. And the first is kind of studying and discussing the solo long-term journey for an individual towards fulfillment. Maybe this is career fulfillment or emotional fulfillment. Accomplishing goals on a big sense, accomplishing goals on a smaller sense. This question can go a lot of different avenues, but the focus of this channel is just one person and how does that fulfillment occur. And then the second discussion of a long-term path is a long-term path towards solutions of American problems. However, minimizing politics in June of 2020, and frankly, for a while now, we think about these problems and think about, well, how do we shove it into the political system and get it solved? And this ends up in being, a lot of wasted time, a lot of bureaucracy, a lot of time spent arguing with one another rather than just purely executing on solutions. And so the question is, can this be accomplished, and can it be accomplished with the minimal amount of political fill in the blank, just because that's such a inefficient way, as evidenced by many of the last couple of years. So now let's talk about challenges in the way for both of these long-term paths and potential solutions that are going to be covered by the podcast. So first, three major challenges for the individual and potential solutions. And we have a nice boring table. Anyways, so potential challenges that a person may have is lack of a clear direction, lack of inspiration, lack of resources, time and money, and then difficult obstacles to overcome. And specifically, we want to see basically how we can solve all three of these problems with how successful individuals have overcome these challenges. This is one of the big reasons that this is a podcast, that this is interviews with the podcast, that we want to talk to real life people, not just one individual. We want a really big picture of this. Next, seeing the best options available based on actual results. Once again, this is focused on real life results, not just academic theories of how to solve these problems, but literally hearing the stories of how other people solve these problems. Next, in terms of the three major challenges for the old USA, in particular, getting long-term solutions for the old USA, we've got a lack of leadership, a lack of teamwork, and a lack of creativity. Obviously, there's plenty of other challenges too, but these are some of the biggest ones, at least in the eyes of this podcast. And so as we look at potential solutions, creating community discussions, no matter what, this is going to be it's going to be multiple people trying to solve this problem. And so we want to make sure that the community is part of these discussions. Next, in general, if we don't have really good leadership, or if we have a lack of leadership, we either have to inspire new leaders or we have to inspire current leaders to step up their game more, which is always a challenge because leadership already has, a boatload of work on it. And so the question is, well, how can they be more creative in solving this problem? And then last but not least, certainly, is just not being afraid. I think that there are a lot of things that it's pretty easy to fear. It's pretty easy to write off a ton of solutions. And so we want to look at actually where can fear be overcome, and really fear, can be overcome in the first challenge as well in terms of the individual life path. But for the old USA, we'll have to consider that too. Anyways, that is a short overview. If you have any questions, you can email operationlonggame@gmail.com. And then if you want to research Joe, I'm the founder of Operation Long Game. You can see josephmiyaki.com. You can also just search Joe Miyaki on LinkedIn or at Joe Miyaki on Instagram for more information on me and to, do that good old fashioned digital research of the individual talking to you. Anyways, I hope this covered anything. Like I said, you can also feel free to comment on this video with questions, and feel free to subscribe if you're interested in the content in general. All right, that was all. Thank you. Bye.